to address us from the point of women entrepreneurship, what he think, how basically India can actually grow, and to be $1 trillion economy, and how women basically can play uh, a, a role into that. So all up to you, Mr. Shukla. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nitinji. Thank you for giving me opportunity to share my experiences and thoughts on this topic, this inclusive growth and the role of women entrepreneurship. So before going to the discussion, I would like to share that I would be sharing some of the findings or some of the data which I got through Government of India websites, different websites. After that, I will share my experiences of working in the area of women entrepreneurship and how we realize that what kind of women entrepreneurship we can think in country like India. So I would request if PowerPoint presentation can be shown here, so that will help.
Sure, sir.
Yeah, please.
Is it visible? Does the PPT is visible?
Dr. Chetna,
Yes, yes, sir.
yeah,
PPT
first use the next one. This is
okay. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, thank you. Next slide, please. Yeah. So as already mentioned in his initial discussion by Mr. Nitin, that around 14% women are women, 14% entrepreneurs are women entrepreneurs. Before that, I would like to share some of the findings. As per Indian Economic Survey 2013-14, it was mentioned that for economic freedom or strengthening the Indian economy, we have to encourage the entrepreneurship spirit in the Indian population. In addition to this, in 2015, the policy which was focusing on skill development, that policy also talked about the importance of entrepreneurship. And if you refer the some of the experiences that nowadays you will find the women who are doing good in the entrepreneurship area, they are not coming from highly business families or richer class of the society, but women from all other section of also doing very good. So the potential is also there. And if you go by the Dr. Chedna, can you go with the next slide? Yeah. So if you go by the Indian populations, around 50% women are comprising the population of the country, and out of these 15%, out of these 50%, only 14% are women coming under the entrepreneurship section of the country. So by this figure, you can easily know what are the potential lies for the women entrepreneurship in the Indian context. And if you go by the different age criteria, then you will find that there is potential for every age group of the women who can do well in the entrepreneurship area for the country like India. And it's not that they are only earning the in the entrepreneurship thing. They are also now day by day or increasing the employing the people who are giving opportunity to other as well to work and contribute for the economic development of the society and later for the country. Dr. Chetna, next slide, please. So now I would like to share my experience because earlier I just wanted to share some of the data which is relevant for the Indian context. Now I would like to share my experience working in the women entrepreneurship model. So we in Usha International is having a pan-India program, Usha Silai School program. And the objective of this program is just to provide entrepreneurship opportunity to the women who are residing in the remote villages of the country. It's not that we are providing this opportunity to the women who are there in the city because they are having other sources of the exposure, other sources of the earning as well. But we are, through this program, we are trying to give opportunity to the women who are residing in the remote villages of the country. And in this training, in this program, we are providing training to the women on sewing and stitching because Usha as an organization is having expertise of more than 80 years of expertise of training, sewing and stitching. And we are not only in machine manufacturing, we are also in content development also. We are gradually improvising our content on sewing and stitching as well. So we are training women on sewing and stitching. In addition to this, it's not that we are just training sewing, we are providing them input on the mechanical repairing and maintenance of the sewing machine because if women are there in the villages and when anything happen with the technical part of the machine, then women should herself in position to solve the problem. So the training or input given on the mechanical part as well. Dr. Chetna, next slide, please. So this initiative started in 2011 by the organization, and the objective of this initiative was providing skill to the women, and by this skill they may start some entrepreneurial activities around their habitation only. So right now in all the states and UT, we are having around 23,000 plus Silai schools across all the states and union territories of India. We are having presence in all the state and UTs. And till date, we have, through these Silai schools, we have trained around 6 lakhs women on sewing and stitching. And by this, we could start giving earning opportunity to the women in the range of 1,800 to 54,000 per month in remote villages. If we see the number for 1,800, it will be less for the city, like any city. But if you go any rural area, then 1,800 is a very handsome amount for the women just to cope with their scenario. And the potential is 54,000 because this is the data which we are capturing from the field, and that's what we are sharing here. And every day around 63,000 women are getting opportunity of learning sewing skill through this Silai school across the rural area. It's not that we are training women through our training also, we are giving opportunity to the women to learn this skill in their village itself, and later they can also use this skill for the betterment or for the livelihood generation of their own. And we are implementing this program in partnership with the organization. So like right now we are implementing this program with 62 NGOs and around 28 corporates or government partnerships. So they are also supporting us for the field implementation of this program. And we are having the presence of this program in 435 districts of the country. And it's not that because the social setup of countries like Nepal, Bhutan, and Sri Lanka, almost nearby countries is almost similar. So we implementing this program in other cities, other countries as well, Nepal, Bhutan, and Sri Lanka. Dr. Chetna, sorry to this next, thank you. So here I would like to share the model of the Silai School program, that how we are implementing this program. So we are running this program in the village itself. We are not disturbing the social setup or social fabric of the women. They are getting this opportunity in their village itself. And Usha as an organization is supporting the women to establish their enterprise in her village itself. And for it's not that we are not there, we are supporting the women for the day-to-day implementation and maintenance of the Silai school, and we are supporting through our partnership to engage more learner, or you can say more women or girls to come to this center, this place, and learn the sewing, and after that they can also get opportunity of earning. Women is not given only training, we are providing them how to run an enterprise and how to take this forward. That opportunity and that hand holding support is also with women across the years. The women which associated with us in 2011, they are also still part of our network, and they are getting regular support and regular input from our team. So it's not that they are alone after the training. They are having regular connect with the women. We are having regular connect with the women. And the best thing which I would like to share here, even in this lockdown period, when most of the establishments were not having opportunity of earning, but these women could earn a handsome amount by stitching masks. And it's not that they earn only, they provided this mask to the nearby people. So somehow they also supported in this pandemic in their village itself. And some of the women also distributed free of cost these masks to the poor or needy people by upcycling by using upcycling of the cloths. That is also there. So as I already mentioned you all that while implementing this program, the main thing which we keep in mind, just to start this process without disturbing social setup of any village or any community or any women. And we realize that without disturbing social fabric or social setup of the village, when the community is seeing that this women is getting some kind of amount, so they also starting supporting them. So somehow this model is working well, that if you are going in the community by their means, they are helping you and they are accepting the way you are there, that they realize that you are there for helping them. So they are supporting the program. And you would be aware that in many research studies also and findings also, it has been clearly mentioned and come up that women first prefer sewing as a livelihood option. And because of this program, we are also getting that support to of women, that because they want to learn sewing, so they are also giving due importance to the program and happily participating in each and every processes of the program. Since women are visiting the Silai schools, so they are also learning sewing. And in addition to this, we during the implementation of the program, we have noticed that the caste system is also somehow mm, affecting because of this program. In some of the states, we have noticed that since the program is basically for the BPL or poor women, so in some of the states, we realize that the women of scheduled caste or backward class women who are running Silai school, and women from higher caste has felt hesitant to join the or come the home of the Silai school women for learning sewing. In some cases, we had, if population is there for initial stage, we had given opportunity to the other women of poor women of the higher caste just to run the Silai school, where in most of the cases, we just observe, just run the Silai school, and after a year or 2 year implementation of the program, the women of the higher caste and class also started coming to the women of the scheduled caste or scheduled tribe or backward women for learning this skills, because they were realizing that they are missing, because they, if they are not having this skill, they are missing something in their life. So that it also somehow supporting this or weakening the caste barrier in the community, in the village itself. And it's not that for this program we have to present each and everything. We realize that when women start earning, the program automatically got self-sustained. But this doesn't mean that they don't need additional input. So that is the reason the women are earning. We are there to provide them all kind of additional input. We here I would like to quote some of the example. Last year, considering the scenario, we realized that we should provide some digital literacy input to the women. So we started giving that input to the women in partnership with some of the organization. So now we are providing digital input, literacy input to the women. Then we realize, can we transfer some of the showing content to digital means? So we develop some digital content. Now we are transferring digital content to the women. Later I will share some of the new things which we have we could do in this program because of the regular support and encouragement by the women. So it's not that Dr. Chedna, next slide please. Yeah, thank you. It's not that we want or we can run this program on our own. For implementation of the program, as I already mentioned, that we are taking input and we are taking support from the other organization as well, be it corporate, be it government. And not only for implementation, but for the skill upgradation of the women. And we got input and we got support from the, because as an organization we are having expertise in the sewing, stitching, but some organization who are expert in the entrepreneurship development or skill development, they are also providing us input on these areas as well. And we are having limited resources as organization, but there are government schemes and government agencies who are supporting grant support to the women, so that they may also enhance their earning opportunity. So that support is also women are getting, because they got this skill by us. So they are qualifying government schemes and grant criteria, and they are enjoying that support also by the government agencies. We started this program, One Women, One Village, but one woman is training on an average in a year around 15 to 20 learners. So they are developing around 20 skilled women in one village for sewing and stitching. So they also organize themselves in small groups, and now they started doing in a production center model. So they are also taking orders from the market, and they are started addressing the local market needs and gradually shifting to the other areas of. Now some of the women started taking, for example, school uniform, other orders as well, and they are giving opportunity for earning other women as well. Here I would like to quote the initiative which was initiated by Usha in 2017. While it's not that we are not visiting the Silai school, our chairman also preferred to visit the Silai school in the villages as well. So in some of the visit, women expressed that now we are confident and we can stitch garment of the high-end fashion market as well. And we want that exposure. If that could be given by the Usha, so we will be very happy. So we just started this process as well. And right now we are having 5 such clusters in 5 states, where we connected these women to the local fashion designer. The fashion designer provided their fashion input, and based on the gap analysis, our technical team provided additional, or you can say advanced skilling input to the women on fashion garments, and the women stitch garment for the high-end fashion market. And you will be happy to know this, that the entire profit, because this is not the business for the Usha. So the entire profit is going back to the women. There are garments for which, for single garment, women is getting around 5 or 6,000 for stitching charges. So that is also there. So this worked very well. Even last year we launched this collection with Mr. Rohit Bal, known fashion designer. So for Kashmir women. So here it's not that women are not having potential. I want to give a focus or just convey this, that if women, rural women get opportunity, so they can do everything. We just need to give them opportunity. If this kind of potential in the rural area, then definitely the women across all the parts of the country can do wonder if they will be given opportunity. And in coming year, as an organization, we are having plans to expand this designer connect process across all the states. Right now we are having for 5 states only, but the plan is just how we can connect the women to all the states, and then designer will So now I would like to quote some of the examples about the organization. Most of you would be aware about the SIDBI, who is actually supporting the entrepreneurship process in the country. They also helped us in establishing around 1,700 Silai school in 5 states of the country. So it's not that they only helped the establishment of the Silai school, they also supported the grant to the women so that they may enhance their earning opportunity. And now that is also working very well. In addition to this, we got support by those two state governments as well, West Bengal and Meghalaya. They also supported us for resource allocation part, and West Bengal government supported for 3,500 women, and Meghalaya government supported for 2 training cum production center. And during this pandemic, the Meghalaya government utilized this 2 training cum production center very well, and the women stitched masks for the health worker and other things, and government functionaries. So that also worked very well. In addition to this, our women who got training by us, they are also now doing job work for the organization like Urmultas, who is supplying or stitching garment for the Rangasutra. So somehow the training which women got through our association is also getting benefit out of this doing a stitching thing. So the main thing which I would like to highlight here for this program, and which one has to notice this, that under this program, women are getting opportunity of earning from their home itself, from their safety and secure environment. So that is also somehow boosting their potential of earning opportunity, and they start establishing their own identity in their family and followed by in their village. This gives, or you can say this boosts their confidence for going for high end, high challenging areas. So this also helped in the entire entrepreneurship process for the women. And when women start earning, I would like to quote some of the examples. While visiting to the Silai school villages, we have seen that the mother-in-laws are cooking, and they are saying that nahi usko rehne dete hain, because if he will cook, in that time she will earn around 100 rupees a day. So this kind of mindset changes we have seen in the rural area. Last month, some of the bank official visited some of the Silai schools. So they have noticed one thing, and they shared in their observation that great thing which really inspired them about this program, that brother-in-law of the women is cooking or preparing tea, and he is serving tea, and the women is sitting with us and sharing her examples of running the Silai school. This actually attract the bank official that this can't possible in normal setup in the rural context, that the brother-in-law making tea for the guest of her bhabhi, and bhabhi is being allowed to share her experiences with the male member who are not from the village or nearby area. So these are the changes which are clearly visible in all parts of the country. So by this I want to share, I want to highlight that women are getting support from their family also, because they have started earning. And if they started earning, so they are getting freedom also, and now support, and they are allowed to go from out of village for earning or other avenues as well. So next slide please, Dr. Chetna. So the main thing, other things which one should know, that in there are cases that women is the only bread earner of a family. So in some of there are cases where women is coming with additional earning for the family, but in there are cases where women is the only earning member of the community, of the family. And as I already mentioned, that some of the stereotypes also getting broken because of this program. There are cases that husband requested her wife that I also want to learn sewing, because in daily wage laborer I am earning around 150 or 200 daily, where if I will also learn, I would also learn how to sew, then I can earn more while sitting here at the home. And they are also supporting in sewing and stitching. And in some cases, when husband is doing marketing of the product, they are buying the raw material from the market, and women is doing stitching. That is also started happening, that women start getting support of the husbands stop their routine labor work, and they decided just to work with the women. And it's not only training, the regular motivation or hand holding support is also playing a important role in the entire process, which as an organization Usha is also providing through its team, and as partner we are getting this support from our NGOs with whom we are implementing this program at the ground level. So that is also impacting this program very positively, and the success success and for earning of the women entrepreneurship, this is also playing an important role. Some of the common features which I would like to share here. We started, next slide please, Dr. Chetna. Yeah, thank you. So we started this program, and preference were given to the married women, because the objective of this, so that the women will be there in the village itself, and there is because it's not that after training they are not getting input, they are getting regular input. So we will be in position to provide regular input in the cluster approach, because we are establishing this Silai schools in 10 to 15 villages in a cluster, so that the every women can get opportunity of regular inputting. But there are cases, there are states where we have taken unmarried women as well, because in one of the training 3-4 girls came to us and they asked that why this program is for the married women. Then the same logic which I have mentioned here, I shared with them. So they said, sir, married women are having less chances of getting sold, but unmarried girls are having more chances. But if we will have this skill in my hand, then I can negotiate with my family that I can earn by this skill. So there are villages in our country where unmarried girls are getting sold because they are not having any avenues in their family. So in those habitation or in those pockets, we have included unmarried girls as well for this program. And we are giving opportunity for the women who are basically from economically weaker section, because the earning of 1,800 rupees per month or 2,000 or 3,000 will have value for those women only. It's not that we want to give only skill. We want that skill should be used for the livelihood and for better earning opportunity, so that women can positively impact their lives. So that is the reason we are choosing the women who are basically from vulnerable section of the society. And considering the program requirement, we are preferring the women in the age group of 25 to 35 years age group in the rural society. By this age group, women are getting married and they are establishing themselves. By 35 years of age, they were becoming grandmother. That is also the scene. So that is the age group we are focusing, so that they may establish themselves in the community and contribute for the village community and for herself as well. And in most of the cases, our Silai school women is part of some of the self-help group. So that's also positively supporting the women, because if required, they can get loan from the SHG and they can easily upgrade their enterprise and start more earning opportunity. Next slide. Dr. Chetna, next slide. So why we feel that this model is successful for women entrepreneurship, especially for the rural context. If you see the problem faced by women entrepreneurs in the Indian context is that Indian society is male dominant society, and women were given family responsibility, and literacy among women is not as much if you compare with the male. And because of safety security reason, women are not allowed to go out from their home. And the key thing that they are not allowed for additional financial support or assistance by family or anything. So these are the 5 things which we realize that the main hurdle for the women entrepreneurship in Indian context. So for addressing these challenges, the main thing which we are supporting under this program is women are given opportunity at their home itself. The investment is also not big. For initial establishment, they are getting support either by Usha and an organization or partner like government or SIDBI or any corporates. So the initial earning, they can start by assistance of any external, and later for expanding their enterprise, they can use their earning itself. So for this, no professional or advanced skilling required. For basic sewing a skill which is basically required for this initiative is part of this initiative that they are getting through this program. And the one thing, it's not that we are teaching women just to showing us teaching. We are sub helping them or supporting them how to support other women as well. So somehow we are also passing to the, you can say, practice or mission that how women can start supporting other women for their livelihood generation or supporting in their livelihood path. Here I would like to quote the example, one of the case study here, who is from southern part of the country, Matilda Mary. So when she started the program in 2013 with us, she was a daily wage laborer, but gradually she worked on herself, and now she is charging 1000 rupees fees from her children. And in 2018, the highest earning which was reported is 56,001 in a 1 month. It's not that in only 1 month. On an average, every month her earning is more than 30 or 40,000 per month. And because of this earning, now she is in position to start sending their girl child to a convent school, which is again a status symbol in the villages, because for girls, government school is there, and family, if somehow could manage money, then they prefer boys to send convent school or private school, but girls are only attending government school. But if earning is there, so now these women started sending their girl child to the private school for better education exposure. So this is the things, or you can say these are the changes which actually inspire us to expand or to work with this program. So now I would like to share the impact of this program. We though we started this program in 2011, but we started maintaining the progress from July 2012. So till days, these Silai school women earn around 72 crore rupees, which is a handsome amount for the women. And this is the earning of the women. As an organization, Usha is not taking a single rupees or any partner, be it SIDBI or be it government or any corporate. The entire earning is for women. And women are getting the opportunity of this earning without leaving their home. They are getting this earning from their home itself. And by this, they improved their quality of life. How quality of life? Earlier, the health of women was not in their agenda. But now, if you ask them how you are utilizing your earning, they will say, now I can save for my health or for my well-being. Earlier, it was not in their mind also. Now they are sending their girl child to the educational exposure. Now this is in their agenda. Now they will show you passbook that this is the saving in my account. This is the criteria for as an organization, or you can say inspiration for as an organization for us, that now these changes we could see in the women life. Earlier, they were not having any identity in their home itself. Now they are having identity in their village itself, that Silai school women, because she is providing opportunity, upskilling opportunity, followed by earning opportunity to the other women or other girls of the community. Now, in some of the cases, as I already mentioned, that they are the bread earners, so that is respect there. And now women are getting decision making power as well. So through this, the women are impacting in the sustainable development goals as well, in poverty reduction, minimizing hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, especially for the girl child, gender equality, somehow they are addressing, and they are having access through this clean water and sanitation facilities. Now, I would like to share some of the recent examples which we have noticed during the COVID situation. So, women stitched masks and distributed to the poor and needy people because the stitching skills were there with them. Our technical team shared the government designs through video to these women, and they stitched double layer or triple layer masks, and they distributed or sold these masks in this pandemic situation. And in this scenario, when people lost their jobs and other things, these women earn around 1.8 crore till 4th of June, which is again an encouraging thing for us, that if you are providing women skills, they are having opportunity of earning and supporting the community and for themselves as well. Before closing my things, I would like my points or the presentation. I would like to share some of the things which is very crucial or very important in the entrepreneurship journey, which we have experienced with High School program. That in this program we built on the existing potential of the women. We started this program that women is having potential. Women are having potential. So the first thing which should be given importance, that women are having potential, and we define or we establish process according to their social establishment, according to their pace, according to their environment. So that is also plays important role in the entire process. And in the entire journey or entire process, women were on the front. We were just as facilitator and gradually minimizes our role and increase